everything from attack to just what would just be troop transport.
Troop transport.
But what was your role? Your primary service role, combat role in the helicopter?
Well, it was. We all had the same military occupation specialty, MOS.
Okay.
1981, and some of us were assigned based on our branch, and some of us were assigned based on preference. And there's some who got assigned to flying slick ships, which was mostly cargo and personnel movement.
How about you?
The only thing I could fly, or I agreed to fly when I committed myself to advanced ROTC flight school, was medevac.
And what is that?
What is it?
Yes.
It's evacuating wounded and dead from the battlefield, and in some cases just moving them about from one medical facility to another.
So a civilian example would be
what we've got nowadays with the helicopter evacuation for
air ambulance.
Yeah, air ambulance.
And you said you called it medevac, but what is the slang? The
dust off.
Dust off. Yeah. So what?
It's not slang either.
Oh, it's not. Oh,
no.
Okay. Oh, okay. But dust off, medevac. Medevac is medical evacuation.
Right.
And
there was only one unit that continued to call themselves medevac instead of dust off.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
First half.
Oh, okay. So speaking of the units, what type of unit designation? Because you weren't in the 1st Cav or the 101st Airborne, rather you were assigned to them. Is that or attached to them?
Yeah.
So what was your unit?
Oh, the name of my unit?
Yes.
Well, I was in so many different units.
Well,
I was with the 101st, and I flew some for the 4th Infantry and the 25th Infantry, and a lot for the Korean Tiger and White Horse divisions.
they were fighting with us in
and
Vietnam.
a lot for the South Vietnamese units.
The ARVN?
ARVN units, which the names of which I never even bothered to find out.
Yeah. But specifically your medevac unit, what was its designation?
44th Medical Brigade.
44th Medical Brigade.
Yeah.
Okay. And describe what are some details of the 44th Medical Brigade? How many, do you know in general, how many pilots, crew? Oh, speak real quick, if you would, to your role in the helicopter. You were the commander of a helicopter.
After a while, I was called a pilot until I had a certain experience in combat, and then became an aircraft commander.
That also accompanies an increase in rank, because you were, what, a 1st lieutenant? Or?
I was a 1st lieutenant at the time, but most of them were warrant officers.
Oh, okay. And you achieved the rank of captain.
Captain.
Okay, so Captain Ron Martin.
That's me.
And then by the time you left the war, you were a crew. What was you were a pilot, and then there was a crew. Yeah, describe the personnel.
Commander.
Aircraft
At
commander.
that time, I had the secondary duty as personnel officer at a hospital. So, when I wasn't flying, I was working administratively as a personnel officer.
But on your helicopter that you are the highest ranking officer on, correct? There's a crew chief, a co-pilot. Like, what's the setup there?
Medic and someone that was called a patient protector, which had nothing more than a M16.
Okay.
When I first got over there, they had just taken the M60s off of the medevacs.
Oh, they were armed initially.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then they started raising hell about the Geneva Convention. Took them off. And the only thing we had after that was your crew all had an M16, except the pilots.
You had your sidearm, right?
Yeah, sidearm.
Which was what, 1911 45?
Yeah.
And then how many? So a crew's made up of 4 individuals then?
5.
5. What are their?
Pilot, co-pilot, crew chief, medic, patient protector.
Okay. And as the pilot, you were at one time a co-pilot and then a pilot. Those were the two
Yeah.
roles. Okay. Yeah. That's right. You gotta remember you telling me you had trained. There was someone who gave you some pretty good training initially when you got there. Who was a pilot that you were co-pilot with, right?
Oh yeah, there were several good. One was the best I've ever worked with. He's he was captain at the time, Ken Trotter.
Yeah,
He
I recall that name.
I learned more from him than I ever learned any training or anything else.
It's the trial by fire. This is the training you're only going to get by doing.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So.
What are some of the most valuable things you learned from Ken?
What's the
What
one
are
now?
some of the most valuable or memorable things that you learned from Ken?
From what?
Ken.
Ken Trotter.
Oh, the best way to get in and out of a hot LZ.
Okay. What's a hot LZ?
That's a battle area that's under fire.
Yeah.
When you go into it. He taught me things I could do with the helicopter that I didn't realize I could do. But you know, it almost takes the helicopter to the point of coming apart. So much stress on it. You go from flying up to the target area. You go from about 3,500 feet down to treetop level, and go as fast as you can into the site you're supposed to land in, and then just before you get there, you kick the aircraft up on the nose and over to the side, which makes it shake like that.
Oh, sounds like you're.
and,
Oh.
and you
Stall the dang thing.
you settle into the ground, but it keeps you out of the range of gunfire
Okay.
for the longest
So.
period of time.
So we're talking about survival flying.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
exactly what it was.
Got it. Yeah, that's pretty. And I take it he did this with you in the aircraft, and then you were doing it on your own.
That's exactly
Okay.
right.
All right. Let's see. So you were over there 66, 67.
Yeah.
Some of these questions are so general. How often did you land on a battlefield? So regarding combat flying, you spent a good bit of time flying in combat. And that some of these questions are: were you shot at often? Were you ever shot down? I mean, so you're big.
Oh, wait a second. What's the general answer to those questions? To both the were you ever shot at? Were you ever shot down?
Always shot at. I mean, when numerous hits on the helicopter that were non-destructive of the helicopter, and then on 2 occasions it got shot down.
2 occasions.
2 occasions.
But you're not a Purple Heart recipient, so you're all right.
I'm okay,
Yeah.
except for
In the head, but that's here's an interesting one. How many? It's kind of tough to know, but did you evacuate hundreds of individuals? Over 1,000? I mean, you're doing this for a year, and I know you were sick for a while and had to go on hospital leave for a bit, but.
I figured then about 800 people rescued, and about 200 KIA killed.
Okay. And that would be a combination of ARVN, the Korean Tigers, our guys, enemy.
Depending on who we were supporting at the time.
Yeah. But ever any regarding being engaged by the enemy and where you were working in the country, do you think you were ever being attacked by NVA, Viet Cong, a combination of the two, all of the above?
When working with the South Vietnamese, it was mostly Charlie.
That's NVA, the Army of North Vietnam.
No, NVA is the official
Yeah.
Army of North Vietnam.
Oh, so you're
but
talking about
the Charlies, and I can't even think of what they were calling.
Viet Cong?
Viet Cong.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were
So
South Vietnamese.
So just they're the South Vietnamese rebels.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Did you ever? Did any of those enemy combatants ever end up on your evacuation routes?
Yes.
So.
If they were within the area of accessibility to where we went into an area, they were loaded onto our helicopter when wounded, just like our GIs were.
Yeah.
And the best I remember, I never carried more than 3 throughout the whole time I was there.
Got it.
One in particular I remember because his leg was just dangling on him. And when we got back to the 91st Evac Hospital, he was unloaded. And I'd never watched surgery before. And I watched I was watching as they amputated his leg, what was left of it, and made a flap and did all that stuff. And I'll never forget the surgeons were working on and hit a vessel sometimes. So anyway, the blood squirted up and hit the doctor in the face, and I passed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a very good student to surgery.
Did you visit that man who had his leg amputated?
I did.
And
Did you?
how did that go?
He hated me. And he was North Vietnamese, and they all hated us because we had no damn business being there. But anyway, I told him I had an interpreter, and I told him I just wanted to see how he was doing. And he said, you well. I said, well, I'm glad you're not armed.
All right, let's do it. Dad, where's that movie We Were Soldiers?